Your uniqueness can be traced back to your childhood. Unfortunately, when you were 8 or 9, every single one of you had an idea of what you love, but it was suppressed as a consequence of envy. And we as humans, I won't say we, but humans, you humans feel envy quite strongly. And envy is the default. Think back to when you were 8 or 9. A kid just got a ball or a new phone, whatever. You went home that day crying for a new phone, crying for a new ball. Jonathan, why do you need a new ball? You're fucking lame. I don't know, but I need a new ball. You are lame. Envy is the default of every single person on this earth. Envy is an anomaly that takes conscious effort to correct. But that's a different discourse in and of itself. The point I want every single one of you to grasp is this idea. People try and drag you to the second class streets. People will try and stifle your potential, stifle your uniqueness. Not because you're doing something wrong, because you're doing something right. You constantly remind them of how chaotic, of how nonchalant their life is. And unfortunately, we as humans, not we as humans, I'm a god, obviously. You humans function on patterns, pattern recognition, and consequence. You twist the doorknob, it opens to you. The door is unlocked. You twist the doorknob, it doesn't open. That means it's locked. You have learned. Which ties back to my philosophy on why women are dumb. Women are dumb because when you reach a certain age, sufficient enough to market your sexuality, reality no longer reflects consequence in real time. A woman can break your $3,000 vase and some dumb simple thing. What happened here? Well, it's not my fault. You know what? You're right. It's a $3,000 artifact. It's not your fault. Let's go upstairs. You have nice physique, whatever. And habits, like every other thing, builds over time. Once that process is repeated on a long enough time frame, it builds this monumental ego that is unjustified in real time. Let's not diverge. The point I was trying to highlight is you function on pattern recognition. Think back to the time when you revealed your potential, you revealed your unique talents. It was met with scorn, disdain. They teased you for it. As a result, you never try it again. You never display that unique aspect of you. Just conformity, just getting along. In fact, I recall one time, very unique individual, I would display my intellect to people at the lower echelons of life, and they would try and ridicule the concept. For instance, we're a group of people just talking something stupid, and I casually try to stir up an interesting conversation. When was the last time you went to a car stand? How much is X car? Don't you believe that one day you're going to buy this car? Trying to have very important conversations. They flip it, turn it into mockery, or the conversation is gently guided back to degeneracy. Now, I will not make such mistake by trying to introduce serious concepts to people at a lower echelon. It's impossible. There's nothing to prove. I don't have to try and save them because unfortunately, not every single person wants to live the good life. Yes, you might claim to want to live the good life, but when it boils down to taking the actions and making the necessary sacrifice to attain the life you claim to desire, you opt out. Another important concept, as I've said in all of my videos, familiarity breeds contempt. If you've made it up until this point, your question would be, how do I find my uniqueness? Exactly. First things first, you do not find your uniqueness. It's already there. You identify as well as accept. Notice my choice of words. Identify as well as accept your talent. Because talent is very insidious, it's stealthy, it eludes you. Talent is something that has been ingrained in your subconscious. It's something you do without thinking. It's a part of you. Have you ever woke up in the morning and go, thank God because I have limbs, or thank God because I have legs? No, it's common sense. It's something that has been ingrained in your subconscious. It's so natural that you're focused on other things that are considered difficulties. Yet, impeded by this one limb, you would cancel everything out and focus on this. Now, I'm not teaching absence and presence. The moral of that analogy is to show you that your talent is something you deem as common sense. You see this with people. Say you are a chef. The idea another individual is incompetent enough to produce a very well cooked meal is asinine. It's impossible. Yes, they might not do it to the efficiency or to the level that you do it, but it should be possible that you're able to produce a meal, right? An artist. What do you mean you can't draw a full circle without the use of compass? What do you mean you can't freehand draw a person within a matter of minutes? So all of those giftings appear like common sense at the infancy. For instance, as a younger man with my childhood friend, I would recollect events from 3, 4, 5 years ago. Events that weren't striking. There was not, there was no, there was nothing out of the ordinary that happened in order for me to store the information. So in other words, it's just a random day that I happen to recollect. So say something happens similar to the past, I will make allusions and I would say, remember you said something like this 5 years ago. What do you mean 5 years ago? Over time, I considered him short-term memory. He can't recall anything until I went into the big world and figured out 90% of individuals act that way, think that way. So the problem wasn't them, the problem was me. My intellect was very unique. You understand the point from that story? I saw it as common sense. Do you remember this event that happened 5 years ago? Expecting you to join in on the conversation and we build some kind of rapport. Again, it's the same thing with your gifting. You're a very good person, or you're a good student, or you're good in XYZ subject. To you, it's common sense. You do not know this mechanical formula. You do not do XYZ. It's just this. To them, you appear as a guru, but to you, it's normal. It's common sense. One of the ways to identify your gifting is to find subjects, find things, find activities you excel out of the ordinary relative to people. Find activities you excel out of the ordinary relative to people. The second part, which is accept. Acceptance is very difficult. As I initially stated, that familiarity breeds contempt. This idea, this gift, these talents are treated with the utmost disdain, is able to produce financial results, is unbelievable. That this mathematical formula or this mind I used to generate physics formula or all of those bullshit they write on the board is able to profit or is able to make me someone that is revered across the ages. It's possible. So identify and accept that that is a talent. And one thing you do once you've identified and accepted is to begin to hone this talent, to begin to put wood inside the fire, to begin to intensify on that subject, on that activity, on that talent. Become the best at offering that service, and you'll be fine. As logical as this sounds, why don't most people do it? Most people refrain from engaging in activities because it isolates them. Unfortunately, to be unique, you have to be indeed unique. Unique means apart from the crowd. Unique means being isolated and working your butt off without the guarantee of success. That's what unique means. Majority aren't willing to pay that price. Majority love comfort. And again, it's your default mode. It's not your fault. It's not your fault because humans, since the dawn of human time, have always been tribalistics. We always moved in tribes, in colonies. We are social beings. That's why the world today rewards sacrifice. The world today rewards people who are able to isolate themselves in order to create something magical, in order to create something that benefits the world in general. Look at athletes. You do not applaud athletes because they achieve the goal. You applaud athletes for the sacrifice, the dedication, the effort put into achieving that goal. You doubt me? Imagine if Superman were to come along and compete in the Olympics. Would you applaud him? Exactly. So the end result, the end goal is not something you're interested in. What you're truly interested in is the sacrifice, the dedication, the efforts it takes to materialize that result. So, my friend, your uniqueness has been stifled. If you've listened to me over time, you understand that subconscious mind is what dictates our behaviors, and our behaviors produces the results. The results determines the quality of our life. So if the subconscious minds are actions you execute unconsciously, your subconscious mind recall when you were intelligent or when you displayed that your natural talent and you were rewarded with scorns, laugh, and disdain. It doesn't want to experience that negativity. It doesn't want to relive that life. As a consequence, what better way to avoid failure than to not try? This intellect every single one of you revere and appreciate was once disdained, was once classified as disgusting to a lot of people. For the sake of time, keep it here. As always, my friend, pleasure speaking to you. See you in the next one.